Khadiza. I am a prevention consultant from NJ4S Union Hub. And today we will be talking about women's role in men's mental health. So a little bit about who we are. We are NJ4S, New Jersey Statewide Student Support Services. We are under prevention links. Our main goal is to address youth's mental health crisis in our community. We aim to support the youths and their families in addressing academic achievements and well-beings of individual students. So for today's agenda, today we'll discuss mental health in general and what are some of the effects of mental health. And we'll talk about men's mental health and some of the mental health illnesses that men suffer from. And our main focus today is to go over how women play a role in men's mental health and what are the signs and symptoms we can look out for and how to provide the support. And finally, we'll recap everything that we discussed and have some Q&A at the end. So there are three components of mental health that I want to talk about today: emotional, psychological, and social components. Emotional components would be involving being able to understand, maintain, or being able to express your emotions in a way that is healthy. And psychological components would involve in how you feel about yourself and your relationships with others, or how you feel yourself in the place in the world, how you're placed in the world. Social well-being would be ability to form and maintain relations with others, or being able to adapt to the environment or get acclimated to basically social situations. So mental health, it affects how we think, our process of thinking, how we feel, and how we act, our behavior. And it also helps to determine how we handle our stress and how we relate to others or make any decisions on day to day. So yeah, our society basically, we are in a patriarchal society, so it often expects men to be very tough or have the pressure to be physically or mentally strong, be the leaders of their family or the society, be self-sufficient or financially, and be breadwinners. And they often have to be emotionally restrained in order to fit in. And in our society, we discourage men to express their vulnerability, such as being sad or being afraid or being anxious. And expressing any kind of mental health illness is kind of like a sign of weakness. And because there is a lack of space to express one's emotion, which can only narrow down to certain emotions such as aggression or anger, that can make it challenging for men to express themselves in a healthy way. So some of the importance of men's mental health: as of 2022, suicide rates among men has been around 4 times higher than women. Also, mortality rates among men are higher from prolonged drinking or drug abuse. Also, because men are less likely to seek professional help, they may that may lead to some dangerous or destructive behaviors, such as I can think of maybe punching the walls or physically harming oneself or others, or let's say reckless driving, leading to vehicle crashes, or substance abuse, addiction, and so on. So some of the types of mental health illnesses that affects men, I would say, depression, we talked about in the chat. That means having low energy, having low mood, affecting your everyday life. I have seen that depression is twice as more common for women, but in terms of men, they are less likely to seek professional help. So we don't really know how many men out there that are suffering from depression and can't seek help. In terms of anxiety disorders, it's intense or uncontrollable feelings of fear or worry, being on edge, generalized anxiety disorder such as GAD. It's 2 times more common in women, but then again, men are less likely to seek treatments. And we also have schizophrenia, which is lack of interpretation of reality, which includes hallucination, delusions, or other disordered thinking. We have PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, reliving some traumatic experience or avoidance or hyper arousal, being on the edge. Around 60% of men are reported to experience at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. And substance abuse, men usually have higher rates of usage or dependence on illegal drugs or alcohol than women in general. So in terms of women's role, I would say communication is a big part. Having women can facilitate open and honest conversation where men can express their emotional side a little bit without having to abide by the societal norm of always restricting their expression. Creating a safe space, we can create a safe space where men can share their fear, their anxiety, happiness, sadness, how they feel, actively listening and making them feel understood or validate their emotions. That's important. In terms of solidarity and support, when men expresses their emotional status, we as women have to understand the need of seeking mental health support for men is very necessary. So being advocates of mental health and encouraging them to seek help or assisting them to find mental health resources. And some of the signs and symptoms that we can look out for would be if someone's showing anger or being agitated and showing signs of irritability or having anger outburst out of a sudden, or having mood swings, or having their energy level drop, feeling sad, maybe hopelessness, or changes in their appetite, or losing a lot of weight, feeling anxious about anything, or stressed out more than often, difficulty having concentrating, feeling restlessness, or being on the edge, or they can be increased in their intake usage of alcohol or drugs or both combined. They can have like thoughts or behaviors that affect their day-to-day life, like having conflict with others, like increasing of arguments or having misunderstanding, issues maintaining relationships or making new ones. At work, maybe their performance go down, or they're having trouble meeting responsibilities or deadline. They can also personally neglect their self-care routine, maybe not showering or shaving or brushing their teeth. Having suicidal thoughts or suicidal attempts these are the signs and symptoms that we can look out for. As social beings, we as women, we have many relationships. Like we wear many hats. We are partners, we are mothers or friends or coworkers, right? So we and social space we occupy, we interact with men in our lives. And for the next few slides, we'll discuss how women can support in men's mental health based on social relationships. So providing support in intimate relationship. Women as intimate partners may often serve as primary source of emotional support for men. So provide support by promoting a healthy mental state, which means maybe promoting activities that promotes relaxation or positive thinking, encouraging them to have open conversations that are meaningful, having mental check-ins, saying, hey, hello, how are you doing? Every day, asking if they're okay, if their mental state is okay, or if they want to talk about something. And promoting healthy coping mechanisms, such as if they like promoting healthy eating habits or exercise, or maybe do some outdoor or indoor activities, maybe watching movies, things like that. Anything that is healthy to to help them cope. uh, Acknowledging and respecting each other's boundaries, honoring personal limits in relationships is important. Giving them space to be vulnerable and feel safe so they can come back to you and have conversations if necessary. So women providing support in familial relationship. I would say women as family members, like we play a significant roles in providing emotional support for men in the family. Like we can like offer empathy, understand when someone's going through something, being able to take some emotional loads off of their plate, like share some responsibilities or like share some household chores or maybe work related things we can do. Encourage men to express their feelings, creating a trusting environment so that they can come to you and not feel like they need to suppress their emotions. And breaking down the masculine stereotypes, I would say supporting men in pursuing careers that align with their interests, or promoting active involvement and nurturing parenting roles for fathers or male caregivers. As mother or caregiver, we can encourage emotional expression from a young age, and look out for signs of mental health issues and address it early on. So how do we provide support in friendships or coworkers? Co-ed workspace is actually the norm. So when we're encouraging conversations, we have to be actively listening and validate our coworker or friends' emotions. First, we have to understand, so like being educated about mental health, like, and the stereotypes regarding men's mental health is important. Being a support system, being an emotional support system, showing empathy or understanding toward our male peers or colleagues, encouraging them to seek professional help, maybe assist them in the journey, such as like looking up resources or taking them to appointments if necessary. So creating a safe space to share, like having a judgment-free zone, promoting self-care, like engaging in activities that would promote relaxation. Maybe ask them if they want, if what they like to do in their relaxing time. Maybe they like watching movies, or maybe encourage them if they want for physical activities like going on hike or maybe on a walk day to day. So for professional support, we can research on how to utilize mental health resources, like making appointments to seek professional help. We have like 988 numbers, the suicide and crisis lifeline. And I went through some New Jersey Gov health mental health resources, and I found Department of Human Service, and this is the QR for NJ Department of Human Services, that they have the directory of mental health services and throughout all the counties. And I checked for Union County, and they have quite a lot of services such as emergency service hotlines or residential service or short-term care facilities or self-help wellness centers. So in New Jersey, and we do have a lot of mental health resources by counties that we can look and find and to provide support. So the clip kind of ends with saying support men in expressing vulnerability. So how are we as women can support men expressing vulnerability? We can work toward having a healthy communication, being the advocates to reduce all social stigmas around men's mental health, resisting gender biases. We can keep ourselves informed, educate ourselves regarding men's mental health, and we can promote self-care for men, which includes healthy ways to express themselves or asking for help when needed without the fear or being judged. And at all, we have to be the allies to men's mental health.
We want to thank Khadiza for presenting today and giving all of us that information, giving us something to think about. Hand claps. I love the mute hand claps that we have. Everybody's clapping. And we do thank you for that presentation. It was very informative. You can follow us on social media at NJ4S Union. Or if you have any questions about our programming, you can email us at nj4sunion@preventionlinks.org. We do thank you again for joining us and have a great rest of your day. And we look forward to seeing you next week.